My older brother Jonathan has always loved drawing. Even today, it's something that he never stops doing.
I'm an artist and, sometime cartoonist, sometime writer. About a year and a half ago, I was invited to undertake a residency to do work for a festival, responding to the Mad Max Museum. Mad Max is a film that I've loved since I was a kid. It's a big trip, so why not make a film about it or document it in some way?
So my brother asked me if I'd like to help him by making a documentary about his trip to Broken Hill. Kind of going into this thing without much of a story and just hoping that something happens and whatever. It's just, that's my only choice. Sony camera, sound mixer. A few days before we get started, Jonathan lets me know that he's decided to bring two of his friends along the journey with us. Christian Flynn and Aaron Snowball.
I'm an artist and abstract artist. Mostly I paint.
I'm a painter of sorts and sort of do kind of science fiction inspired landscapes these days.
I'm on this trip with Jonathan because he asked. Jonathan's an old friend, Christian is an old friend, to come out, make work like we were in art school again, or to see Broken Hill.
So I've been feeling a bit sort of estranged from my own art practice. The thing for me, I guess, is the absence of a large population. To be away from people stumbling over the top of each other. And
there's a sort of a magical thing, I think, that happens when you're with a certain group of like-minded people for a serious amount of time, and you get to know them on a different level than you would socially.
It's a 13-hour non-stop drive from Sydney to Broken Hill. What did you guys get?
None of your fucking business.
You guys film each other for a bit and have a chat.
Oh my god, what are we going to talk about?
No, just hold it. Don't think about the framing. It's 360. Just hold it.
It's hard not to
I know, but
think about it because I've got a camera in one hand and the sound sack in the other.
Yeah, just ignore it and like have a conversation, right?
No, like...
Did you just say just take a breath?
Yeah, just take a breath. My brother and I have always been close, and both our parents are artists. From an early age, we liked to draw comics together. I stopped drawing when I left home, and my brother kept going.
I look back at our childhood and I see a very typical 80s childhood. The toys of the time, action figures, trips to the video shop, taking quite a role.
As I got to know these three artists throughout the trip, I started to become curious as to why they actually make their art and go to all that effort.
As it got dark, we blew a tyre. Let me get off the road a bit more. The hard question of art. Why do it? It's like, why do anything at all? Like, why keep going? What's worthwhile? You know, what are you gonna spend your time doing in this world?
Get a cow. Yes, cows, doggies.
to try and like find something beautiful, find something meaningful. So we arrive in Cobar on Saturday evening, which is a very small town, a crossroads town basically.
Look at that, they got fucking Coopers on tap. Little new pig.
Oh, we should take our bags into the hotel, right? So that we can take the car in the morning to get it fixed.
Your destination will be on the left.
So we looked for a place to eat. The only place that was open was the golf club. I asked, you know, where we could possibly get a tyre fixed on a Sunday morning. And she said, oh, I don't know anything, but oh yeah, I know the guy you need to speak to. Look, here's his Facebook account.
And lo and behold, turned out he was there at the pub.
Who's the one with bad luck? and Jonathan said something, said, yeah, that's us. And he said, oh, well, if you didn't have bad luck, you wouldn't have any.
We agreed to meet Chris at his tyre shop at 7 a.m. the next morning.
We're waiting on Chris.
We've been waiting for an hour and still no sign of Chris.
I don't know whether it's Cobar time or whether it's just like, fuck them city boys.
At 8:30 in the morning, Chris arrives and replaces our tyre.
We're here for a month, and it's rare to be in a place that's not home without a project that you're working on. And so it's a chance for me to, you know, think through what I want to do next.
So this is where Aaron and Ben will be staying. So I call this the shining wing because of the red walls.
This has to be time well spent. It has to service, I guess, the way I'm thinking about the world at the moment.
One of the things I really want to do during this trip is to push myself a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I'm at my most productive when I'm in a routine and I've got everything set up just so.
Today we visit the Mad Max 2 Museum, where Jonathan will gather reference images for his upcoming artworks.
How's it going?
You got the full team with you?
Yeah. Jonathan,
Nice
how's
to
it
meet you,
going?
Jonathan. Good, mate, good.
This is my brother Ben.
Good, yeah, come in. So what is it you wanted to, what is it you...
Well, mainly for me, I mean, I want to just get a bunch of photos for the project next year. We're doing a little film about making it all happen as well.
We watched Mad Max last night, and like Mad Max was filmed here, right? Or like in this area, and you really sort of see the landscape in it. It's such an intense film.
Oh, it was incredible what they achieved to build the whole Mad Max world. Just having the backdrop out here and Broken Hill, absolutely incredible. It just worked so perfect. But it's just become a huge part, I suppose, of the culture.
You know, the whole series has been something that I've really enjoyed watching again and again and again. And it does have links to a lot of the things that I'm interested in my own artwork usually. Certainly lots of inspiration to draw from. Gonna get some shots of the masks, because they're particularly of interest.
Well, I think Jonathan doing an exhibition or drawing upon elements from Mad Max, I think it's 100% Jonathan McBurnie all over. Like it's fantastic. There couldn't be a more perfect subject matter for him to go and focus on.
I think it's right up his alley in a way, you know, the sort of sense of space in his drawings often draw on kind of the Western.
Pop culture, violence, hypermasculinity. These are all things that pop up in Jonathan's work, and, you know, critiques of those things. Science fiction is interesting to me because it's given us a space in which we can be creative and sort of dream what is possible for humanity, but at the same time critique the world in which we live as well. So it's almost like it gives us the capacity to be in a couple of places at once. It's like I don't think there's any sort of underlying meaning to existence, but existing gives us the opportunity to forge meaning.
What are you doing in Broken Hill?
I'm here to start work and start thinking about working on a project for Glamfest next year. I'm not exactly sure what I'll be doing, but I can say that it's highly likely to involve that sort of very bright, character-driven, you know, aesthetic with the sort of the spikes and the mohawks and the souped-up cars.
This is our laneway for the festival, Gawler Place. Historically, it's a laneway that was used for, I guess, the original pop-ups.
I'm hoping I can use the space behind the local cinema. That would be a very fitting place to do it. Just sort of getting into this mask thing, Mad Max masks. Cage matches, and then that links in with the Thunderdome. Some of them are looking good, some of them are looking very, very bad. I don't really go in with concrete ideas. I tend to untangle everything and what it means after I've done the work.
Not much rattles Jonathan. Well, you know, he's always been quite stubborn in his positivity, I think. And I've always admired Jonathan for that. And I don't know whether it's just sort of, you know, natural or perhaps, you know, Jonathan had leukemia as a kid, right? And so he, a lot of kids don't make it through.
That was, you know, pretty hectic year. The next year, after I was pretty much done with all of that, I got a degenerative condition in my right hip called avascular necrosis. I finally got a hip replacement earlier on in this year. It's allowed me to get back to a much more normal life.
It's just like, I'm going to do some painting and I'm going to see what happens. I think we've made the green that we want. And if we arrive there, then that's good.
Painting is a series of irreversible mistakes. Like life, really, just a series of irreversible mistakes.
If you keep it loose enough, to be able to react and respond yourself as you go. I really like that sort of intuitive process.
Is it hard to make art?
Yep. For me. But maybe it's just because I'm not good at it or because I want something from it.
You know, when I go and pick up a paintbrush, I don't want it to fucking turn into a pity party.
Just act like you've made a mistake.
I'm going to have a shitload of butter on a single piece of bread. Because I love fat.
I don't want it to be on my phone on a documentary.
You could have chosen another filmmaker. It didn't have to be your brother. I think when you're staring at a blank canvas or a blank whatever, I've always found it advantageous to make sure that you're not working with nothing. So we went up to the Miners' Memorial, up the top of what's left of the part of the mine that is no longer active.
I mean, really, it's a very interesting place to go up there. The colour of the rocks and everything around there is very interesting. In certain areas, you get that real dark, grey, coal kind of colour coming through, and in other places it's the blues and the browns and the ochres.
Then there's this Star Trek-esque sort of architectural monument to the miners up there, and inside you walk along and it's the names of all of the miners who died and how they carked it.
Fell down the shaft, tangled in ropes, died from explosion, crushed by machinery, died in the change rooms, heart attack, poisoning, suffocation. You know, they didn't have it easy.
Throughout our time in Broken Hill, I found that Aaron was spending a lot of time working alone in his room while the others stuck to the studio. Hey.
Hey. When I wake up in the morning, the light is very nice coming in the window, and I've got used to doing these watercolors in the morning. Just trying to decide what to do with this. Like, I'm glazing over it in this darker blue, which is working. Yeah, what's happening? So, I was always a very shy kid. I went to 25 different schools. I never really had much expectation or ambition for myself or anything like that. So I spent a lot of time alone as a kid, and I think I had developed a kind of internal world. You know, you feel yourself searching around the surface, and those few moments where you do get to go deep into it, you come out with something that you didn't expect. It feels real. I do it because I never, you know, like I didn't ask to be here. Well, not really, you know, we're thrown into the world and we're in this world and there's a lot to experience, and I've got like thin skin, you know, I kind of feel it all. And I think that art is a way to complain, to say, you know, what the fuck. It's a witnessing of what's going on in some ways, and it's also a response to the universe.
Also a way to be in it too.
Way to be in it, yeah. So I'm just trying to decide what I want to turn green in these central 3 circles. A lot of things that never quite cross this line to being more than what they are. It's a constant battle against my own perfectionism, I suppose. I don't know what should I do with this. No, it's not there yet. It's not finished. It's got to do something a little bit special. Art is not always easy. Sometimes art takes time. It's not always like clear and joyful. You'd be struggling with what you're doing and it's just a mess on canvas, just a whole bunch of marks.
Eliminating what you've done completely in a work is always an option. Yeah, we lost that, Ben. This one's gone.
What happened?
Nothing. It just wasn't getting enough form, so I think I'll just brush it all out and then we'll work back into it. See, I found a form in this that I found quite interesting, and see, that's the anchor for the rest of the painting. And
Does this often happen? You just give up and paint over it?
well, not give up. It's just like admit that that thing is not really, I'm not getting what I need out of it, whatever that is. I mean, a lot of the time you just don't know. And move on to something, let it become something else. Jonathan's process is compulsive. I don't think he could stop.
I was always a bit envious with Jonathan is how he works and he just doesn't stop. He just continues every day, he's drawing and drawing and drawing. And it's a very maximalist approach.
He's done so much drawing that he fights against his own proficiency. Because I think sometimes being proficient at something can get in the way of what you're actually trying to capture.
Of anyone who just flows through, Jonathan is quite exceptional.
Rightio, you mob?
You all set?
Yeah, I'm good.
I had a lovely time here.
I think I've got enough content.
So yeah, today Otis came in and did a bit of a shoot.
Yeah, I mean, culture's clung on to a lot of what these films have done for the place, you know?
I don't think I do question my validity in the art world, but that doesn't mean I'm not very aware that I don't necessarily always fit in that world. I'm aware that opinions are opinions, you know, that opinions are just what you feel.
What is it about? Is it just playing with materials and ideas and ego?
What are you buying?
What are you selling?
You've got to have faith.
You've got to have faith, which makes us like snake oil, right? He's saying you've got to have faith. It means it works by the placebo factor, you know, or we've got to have faith. It's going to, you know, art's going to do what? It's not going to, like the whole point about, the only reason we call it art is because it doesn't do anything else.
I like it when people like my work, for sure. Yeah.
I don't think that what I'm really interested in is necessarily going to complete with a market big enough to live off.
The ambition is to make work that's as good as the work you love, you know, as good as the best. and whether that's recognised in a context, recognised, you know, by society or not, is a whole nother matter.
We're getting ready for Glamfest. Who needs CrossFit when you can carry dolls around? I've got 4 car doors and a bonnet from the local wreckers. This one's almost too good to draw on. Check it out. I'm going to be drawing sort of Mad Max scenes and images that are taken from the trip. I'm putting up my work with magnets on this corrugated metal wall. I have to do it quietly for the movie. Yeah, so it's coming along. We've got a plan, finally. The images you see that are magnetized onto the wall are the images that are in the animation. The idea for this had origins in the trip with Aaron and Christian. Always hard when you're just starting and, you know, it doesn't make sense for a couple of hours, this sort of thing. It's a weird thing working in public. Usually art making is quite a personal process and a solitary process.
What are you doing on this one?
Don't know yet. It's been interesting having, you know, a lot of people peering over my shoulder and wanting to chat and making comments, but it's been a largely positive experience. It makes it a bit hard because you've got a lot of ground to cover really quickly. I might run out of time. It's slow going, especially on the bonnets. There's been a few people through that actually worked on either Mad Max 1 or 2 that have come and had a bit of a chat. They were like, why is he painting this white? And then there's this little girl and she's like, just trust in the process. And she just kept saying, just trust in the process. Yeah, I feel like it's feeling better, but it's always like that with these things. At first it's a bit touch and go, but the more you do, the better it gets. I feel like I'm still looking for that next step and pushing myself into that next place. Have I learnt anything about myself? I would probably say yes, but I don't think I'd be able to say what that is until I have a bit of perspective on it.
I don't hate art. In fact, I love it. I think it's pretty amazing. This trip has reminded me art can be a really, really wonderful, positive thing that sort of can bring people together.
I think you can connect to other people in a very deep way through art. And maybe it's about witnessing the world out there, witnessing the universe, or maybe it's about being in the universe and participating, you know, just responding to it, you know, like, what the hell are we here for, you know? Well, you know, all of those big questions.